Okay, so this is Algebra 1, 1.3. Okay, so in 1.3, we are looking at order of operations. And I know last week we went over this a little bit, right? So order of operations just tell us how to do a problem. There's a set of rules, right? Which steps come first, then what comes next, and so on. Otherwise, we're all doing the operations and finding our value in whatever order we want. So order of operations are parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, addition, and subtraction. And that it goes in this order, okay? Parentheses, we kind of talked about the fact that we're not talking about just your normal parentheses, right? That is one. We can have a type of bracket, the boxed brackets. You can even have a division bar, okay? This separates it from the numerator and the denominator, okay? E is for exponents. Again, with these parentheses, these grouping symbols, it's talking about any grouping symbol, so anything that's put together. So perform operations within these grouping symbols. Okay, radicals are here too. You would take the square root here. Radicals in grouping symbols means you would simplify under the radical. Multiplication and division mean you work from left to right. So if division comes first, that's fine. Then you could do the multiplication, or you could do the multiplication, then the division. Whichever comes first in the problem gets done first. Same thing with addition and subtraction. It works from left to right. Okay? So, addition, then subtraction, or subtraction, then addition, whatever is coming first in your problem. Okay? So, with order of operations, really we're just looking at doing some problems. Okay? So, we're going to evaluate given a value for x. So we want to find the value of the expression when x is 3. Okay? So we have 4x squared minus 8. Okay, order of operations tells us to do, first actually what you have to do is you have to replace your x with 3. So you go into your expression and say, okay, here's an x, so I'm going to put in a 3. So when we look at the exponent, it's just on the x. So we get 4 times whatever x is. X happens to be 3, so we're going to put 3 in here. Okay, so we get 4 times 3 squared minus 8. Order of operations says, okay, where are my parentheses? Well, I have parentheses, but inside there's nothing to simplify. So then I move on to the exponent. Okay, so I have an exponent here. It's attached to the parentheses. So that tells us whatever is inside is our base. So we're going to do 3 to the second power. And 3 to the second power is 9. Then minus 8. Okay. So we did our exponents. Now we're going to do multiplication and division working from left to right. So we have multiplication right here. So that tells us we're going to do 4 times 9 first, which is 36. And then our last operation is a subtraction. 36 minus 8 is 28. So we get 28 as our answer. Okay? Kind of suggest working through homework this way. Write your problem and then start going below it. Circle, box, highlight your answer so it kind of stands out. It gets confusing when you work straight across, like what's coming next, okay? So I suggest, it's not required, it's just a little easier, working straight down, okay? All right. Next one, we have 27 divided by x squared plus 3. Okay, again, the first thing you have to do is you have to replace that variable so you know what it's equal to. You can't do anything with this. So we're going to get 27 divided by, there's our x. I always put a parenthesis around x because then I can remember when I substitute it in what its value is. So I'm going to put 3 here. Okay. Then order of operations says parentheses, but that's simplified because it's just a number. Okay. Then here's my exponent. It's on the parenthesis. So we're going to square 3. So we get 27 divided by 3 squared is 9. Then plus 3. Okay. Working from left to right for multiplication and division. I come to division first, so that's what I'm going to do. 27 divided by 9 is 3. And then the last step I can do is 3 plus 3, which is 6. Okay? All right. So parentheses play a really important part in our math problems because it can change the entire value of an expression. So consider something like 3 times 4 squared plus 8 divided by 4. Written just like this, order of operations, I'm going to do my exponents first because there's no parentheses. Then multiplication and division as I work from left to right. So here's one set of multiplication. So 3 times 16 is 48. And then I have division here. So I'm going to add 8 divided by 4 is 2. And 48 plus 2 is 50. Following straight order of operations. If I take the same expression, but I add in parentheses around the 4 squared plus 8. Okay? It tells me to do what's inside my parentheses first. So 4 squared is 16, but then I still have an operation inside the parentheses. So it tells me to add first. So 16 plus 8 is 24. And then it's just multiplication and division. So I'm going to multiply. 3 times 24 is 72. And 72 divided by 4 is 18. So you get same numbers, same operations, you just had parentheses here, and it changed the entire value of the expression. Okay? All right, so again, just a quick note. So 32 minus 16 plus 2 doesn't mean, order of operations doesn't mean I'm going to add this first. It's addition and subtraction, so I work straight from left to right. So 32 minus 16 comes first, then add 2. Same thing with multiplication and division. Doesn't mean to multiply first and then divide, okay? So it just means work straight from left to right. So division came first, so I'm going to do that. So 48 divided by 3 is 16. And then the multiplication, 16 times 2 is 32. Okay? All right. A grouping symbol can be a fraction bar. So if I have 24 times 3, then my fraction bar, so it means over 5 plus 3 squared minus 2. Okay, what this is really saying is it's taking the numerator and dividing by the denominator. So we can think of it as saying, here's my numerator, then my denominator. So what this problem really means is 24 times 3 in parentheses, then dividing by 5 plus 3 squared minus 2. So it's like you have your numerator in parentheses, then divided by the denominator in parentheses. So that's how it works as a grouping symbol. So I'm going to do simplify the numerator. So order of operations here tells me just to do 24 times 3. That's my numerator. Then I'm going to divide that by the denominator, which, following order of operations, 5, 3 squared is 9. So we would get 5 plus 9 is 14, minus 2 is 12. Okay, so what we would say here is this equals 72 over 12. Now you can divide. 72 divided by 12 is 6. So that's how we get there, because we simplify the numerator first, then the denominator, and then you actually divide. Okay. The next part just talks about your calculator. So just be aware that the calculator does what you tell it to do. So the book kind of walks you through how to check to see if it's programmed for order of operations. Not every calculator is. If it's a basic calculator, or if you're using your phone, it's not going to know order of operations. So you're going to have to tell it what to do. So you're going to have to, like, on this problem, if it doesn't have order of operations, it would have done 24 times 3, then taken that value and divided by 5. So you would need to put in 24 times 3. Then you would have to figure out what this is. You'd probably have to do 3 squared, then add 5 and subtract 2, and then go back and divide. So just be aware that the calculator only does what you tell it to do. Okay? So 1.3 is just order of operations, and you have your homework for it.